Hello YouTube, thanks for joining me again. My apologies for the view of my kitchen and of me shuffling around at the beginning and I'm afraid the end of this video, but in case you hadn't guessed, I haven't got one of those little buttons yet where you can start recording on and off manually from where you're sitting. So, also apologies for the fact that this video is not the one I was hoping to post this weekend. I was hoping to do my first ride out video, filmed on my ZZR 600 yesterday morning, showing you these lovely Kentish byways, but it all kind of went pear-shaped. I set up my camera on the bar end of my bike, lovely, hand went in, good operation of the controls, perfect. Went in, got my gear on, but with my gloves on, every time I went to grab the handlebar, it moved the camera. So it's an issue I've sorted now, so I hope to bring you back next week, but this week I'm doing something along these lines again. Before we move on to the main subject today, and talking of ride out videos, please let me know in the comments below what sort of thing you like to see. You get a lot of complaints about this sort of video. Oh, they're too long, oh, they're too short, why isn't he talking, why is he talking? So please let me know what you like to see out of a ride out video. How long it is. Do you want narration? What kinds of roads even do you want to see? And I will try and produce something that keeps as many of you happy as possible. Right, moving on to today's subject, and that is motorcycle accidents, or to be precise, one particular kind of motorcycle accident. The classic SMIDC, or as it is an acronym standing for Sorry Mate, I Didn't See You. This is the accident where you have a vehicle travelling along a carriageway with the right of way, another vehicle racing in a side road to either cross or enter that main carriageway, and they totally ignore the vehicle oncoming and pull out in front of it, causing an impact or a near impact. This is initially, the main factor of affecting this is three issues that fall onto the vehicle in the junction. Okay, three very distinct issues, the third of which is including this very tenuous link in my description to Albert Einstein, but I'll get onto that last. But there's no way you can say that whenever this happens, it's not always entirely the fault of the car pulling out. You, as the vehicle on the main road, have a responsibility too. The highway code says always be able to either stop your vehicle or manoeuvre out of harm's way should a situation arise. If you're going into where there's a junction, right of way or not, and there's a car waiting in it, assume that it hasn't seen you. Back off your throttle. Position yourself so if it does pull out, if you can't stop, you can manoeuvre safely around it. Okay, preferably behind. It's all very well saying it's my right of way, but that won't matter a fig when you're the one sitting in a hospital bed with a smashed bike, or worse. Okay? Good, now we covered that, let's get down to the person in the junction. The person with the majority of responsibility. Now, from what I can see, there's three reasons why this really goes wrong. The first one is background. Like it or not, on a motorcycle, same as a cycle, push bike, you are presenting a very, very small frontal area. Okay? It is incredibly, impossibly easy for you to disappear into the background. Reasons 2 and 3, when I get to them, will show you more reasons why it is so easy. But just for a minute, take my word for it. There are those that advocate daytime running lights, using headlights, reflective clothing, bright clothing, and although it's true to say there's no harm to doing that, but there's also not a huge amount of evidence that it actually makes a lot of difference. Again, it might sound odd, but I'll cover that more in reason 2. Okay. One thing I can certainly say about these items is that if you are using them, do not rely on them. They might not be seen. You might have the daytime running light for the Titanic on the front of your bike, but the truth is, and I don't know how, some people are still going to miss it. Okay? Wear it, use your headlight, do not rely on it. Right, moving on to the second reason, where I get a bit more into why that is the case, and that is experience. Generally, experience is seen as a good thing. Okay, you get better at something, but that's not always the case. You can also pick up bad habits and get worse at something, and that is definitely the case with driving, and I hate to say it, even riding. Yeah. As you get more and more experienced, as driving and using your vehicle becomes more of an everyday event, if you like, something you've always done, then it becomes more autonomous in your brain. You're no longer putting a direct conscious thought into it. You're actually letting your brain make decisions that you should be looking and making for yourself. For example, by the time you've been driving a while, you pull up to a junction. Now, a solid white line across that junction indicates you should stop. But once you've got a bit of experience, not a lot of people want to physically stop and spend time having a decent look. That is the horrible truth. So they're going to pull up, they're going to have a cursory look. If you're lucky, you'll get 1 or 2 seconds each direction. Then they're going to put their foot on the accelerator and they're going to go. Okay? So, and this would be a bit more in reason 3 I'll cover this, you on your motorcycle, bright clothing, headlight or not, they have not looked long enough to distinguish you from that background. If you're in an urban environment, you're going to be surrounded by bright colours. You're going to be surrounded possibly by lights in shops. There's a good chance they might not have seen you because they're not really looking. They haven't spent the time really looking. And what they're looking for when they do give that couple of seconds each way isn't you. They are automatically, because their brain's hardwired to do this, all of our brains are, they're looking out for things that can harm them. They're looking out for lorries, cars, main battle tanks, who knows. But they are only really hardwired to look for things that can harm them. You, on your bike, are small, so their brain does not register you on your bike as a threat to them. So they're going to pull up, quick look, they're not going to see you as such because you've disappeared into the background, and they're going to pull out again. Not good, not right, but it is what happens. But that's not really the end of the story. There is something you can do about this. The third reason, and the link, the rather tenuous link to Albert Einstein I used, is his general theory of relativity. In particular, the idea of how looking at motion from different angles affects how your brain sees it. Here's you on your bike. You're presented in a very small frontal area, and I don't know whether you can see it or not, but I'm actually moving towards the lens. All you can really see in that situation is the object slowly getting bigger. There's no real sudden quick movement there. Now, sudden quick movement or just larger movements are important because our brain is hardwired to see them. What from the earliest days of human existence, when things like saber-toothed tigers were a threat, a movement, especially a movement close to you, signifies a threat, signifies danger. And our brain doesn't just see it and react to it automatically, it also acts to it. That's why you jump. Whether you know it or not, you're actually jumping away from the source of that danger. You're not thinking about having to jump away, your body's done it automatically, and you can use that to your advantage. So if you see a car in a junction and you're approaching it like this, Einstein says that lateral, if you stand sideways onto an object that's moving, you see much more movement. You see that. So why not combine the two? I often sit out near the crown of the road. So as you approach the car in the junction, instead of just doing that, move to the left, move to the right. Not sudden jerky movement, don't need to be just a little bit of movement. Make sure there's not a cyclist or something there for you to go barreling into. They tend to not like that, they can be a bit funny cyclists, bless them. But by adding that sideways movement, even if they're not really looking for you, that person's brain is going to register the movement. More than headlights, more than bright clothes, their brain will register the movement. Hopefully, keep a few people out of hospital. Right, that's food for thought. That's all I've got to say on that subject really. Before you go, please don't forget, let me know what you want to see out of a ride video, and I'll try and do one for next weekend, either on the Kawasaki or on the Enfield. Please, if you're new to this, watch my other videos, leave likes liberally scattered, that'd be great, and please feel free to subscribe. At the moment, I'm only using cheap equipment. Hopefully that'll improve. This is early days for me too, in case you can't tell by my presentation. But if you think this is bad, look at my first one. And please feel free to join me for a ride. Subscribe to this channel, tell your friends about it, share the link, and let's make this place an interesting forum where we can talk about all subjects motorcycle. Hopefully see you in about a week's time. I hope to post weekly, minimum. There might be weeks I don't because I'm also a single parent. So please don't mind if I don't. But if you do ride your bike, ride safely, and I'll see you soon. Take care.